pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, thank you everybody for coming tonight. Sorry about the delay here. Yes, due to technical difficulties, we may have some delays with going back and forth here. I do need to amend the agenda though, to add the opening pledge to the flag, public comment period, and the police report.
Is that a motion?
I do need a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in agreement?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay. Guess the first thing we're gonna do is call for the acceptance of the minutes for the June 9th board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in agreement, give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
And can I have a motion to accept the minutes for the June 27th
I'll make the motion.
meeting?
Second.
All in agreement?
Aye.
Now, need a motion to accept the treasurer's report for the month of June and approve the check request list for June and July's bills.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in agreement?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is, we're gonna go to public comment. And we'll start at the first row. Yes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Eric Bauman, 208 Wales Way. At the June Police Commission meeting, our representative brought up the issue of the fact that there were about $780,000 in various bank accounts for the police commission, and requested that possibly 200,000 of that be returned back to the municipalities. And that would give us about 53%, I guess, so about 100,000 would come back to us. Now, the year's not even a half over at June, the second Monday of June. So I think it's quite a bit premature to be asking for monies back when they're looking to hire a new officer, buy 2 police cars. They have a lot of bills, I guess, with insurances in October or so. So the police commission budget is roughly $2.7 million, and with $780,000 in reserve or in various bank accounts, that's about 28% of their annual budget. The Maidencreek Township budget is $5.4 million, and there are currently over $2.3 million sitting in our bank accounts. That's 43% of their annual budget. So I'm just curious why there isn't more enthusiasm to give some of that $2.3 million back to the taxpayers. Why we would be so eager to take money from the police budget when they're not even halfway through their year and they still have a lot of expenses. So I'm wondering, was this representative of what the entire board wanted? Did the entire board authorize our representative to ask for $200,000 to be returned?
Well, I can address some of this. As you mentioned, that $780,000 is in reserve. It's above and beyond the monthly operating cost for the police commission. The monthly expenses are met with the monthly contributions that each of the municipalities make. So that's basically money that sits in a savings account. Fortunately, the police commission doesn't have the cash flow issues that sometimes the municipality have, because we have real estate taxes that come in certain times of the year, and other types of taxes that are going to be, hit our bottom line basically at one point versus the other. For the police commission, it's every month the same contribution is made. So I certainly support having the money come back to the taxpayers. I certainly support having money go back to the taxpayers from the township too, because it's our money as taxpayers. We also were fortunate to receive ARPA funds, and that's why our reserve money for the township is higher than it had been years past. But we also do have other projects that we need to take care of too, because it's important to maintain our infrastructure. Absolutely. For the township.
It's important for the police department to have monies too for what they need.
They're well funded.
We don't even have body cams yet at this point. we're working on that, so.
Well,
We
those
need-
were,
we
those
need
were
to-
authorized.
No,
but you, I know you mentioned, but those were authorized as far as
Right.
body cams.
Yeah, but
They're paid
I'm
for.
saying it's 2022 and our police officers don't have body cams. There's a lot of work to be done to bring us up to speed. I just think it's ridiculous halfway, not even halfway through the year, to be asking. The police budget was actually reduced, I believe, $200,000-300,000 from last year. So they're operating very efficiently and very smartly. I just think to defund the police at this point is ridiculous. You've got $2.3 million. We could
Okay.
use it, I could use it, anybody else?
With all due respect, no efforts being made to defund the police. So
You're taking
that's,
that's
no,
defunding.
that's categorically wrong.
You're
Now,
taking money away from the
excuse
police
me,
budget.
Excuse me, Mr. Bellman, I have the floor at this point. What you're saying is incorrect. The police department is not defunded whatsoever, and the police chief can attest to that. The budget is being adhered to. There's more than enough funds to cover all the expenses. In fact, there's a substantial reserve of the approximately $700,000 to $800,000 above and beyond what's required to operate the department.
Okay, so the other supervisors agree with her.
I just want to bring this up. When I was on the commission last, one of the things we discussed was giving money back, and we did so. At that point in time, I brought up that we never bring it back until at the end of the year, when we have an idea where the money is, where we have an idea where we're at going forward, because I'm never going to take money out of one account if I need it in that account or don't know if I need it in that account. The ARPA funds we have here in Maidencreek, we can't just give to everybody. Those are for projects and things that we're working on. And yes, we are funded right now, but we don't know where we're going in the future. And that's one of the thoughts that I keep in my head, even when funding the police department. Everything's good today. We're in one heck of a financial status moving forward here with our federal government and everything. So we already see that there are problems coming. You know, we need to prepare for that. If we have money set aside, that's not money we need to go after anybody for. And this was the one concern I had all along. If something comes up at the police department, you need money, and then you have to come back to us and ask for it, it's a lot easier having it in those reserves than it is to try to claim it later. So my thought is, we don't know what's coming yet this year. We don't know what's coming next year. We won't know until we start budgeting those items. So, no, I'm not in favor of anything in the middle of the year at all. I think we need to look at it at the end of the year like we did the last time. If there's an excess amount of money then, that's when we decided we were going to start looking at giving it back at the end of a budget year, not in the middle somewhere. The township itself, as for giving money back, like I said, a lot of that money is ARPA money. It's already limited into how we can expend it, so we can't just hand it out like it was a hot dog stand or anything. So that's where I stand with it. I just feel that right now is not the time to move anything.
I mean, regardless if it's sitting in their savings account or our savings account, I think after the October meeting, the police commission meeting, they sit down, they look at everything, and they forecast out till the end of the year. This is what our expenses are gonna be, this is where we need to be at. November, we have the discussion, they make the motion to distribute that monies back, and then December, before January 1, checks get distributed out to the communities at whatever percentage they get. So I'm in favor with it being more towards the end of the year also. I think the money needs to be there. Regardless if it's sitting in our account or their account, it's not going anywhere. It's gonna make whatever little interest it's gonna make, but the monies are there.
Yeah, it was decided Monday evening by all three municipalities that this will be looked at maybe November.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that this isn't brought up every month at the police commission meeting until then.
That was a
Like
year
everyone's-
ago decided as well.
Pardon?
It was decided over a year ago as well.
Right.
That that's how we were gonna do it. And quite honestly, I have to say, I think the chief's doing a great job. I believe that everything is running as smoothly as it can. However, there are additional expenses. I think we're probably 2 more officers short than what we should have now. I think we're equipment short, and you never know in a police department what's gonna go wrong. If you have to buy a car tomorrow, coming back to the municipalities and saying, hey, listen, folks, I need you to divvy up, $55,000, it's easier saying, well, it's already here, than it is to say, let's bring it in now. Because it would be like us coming to you saying, hey, listen, we ran short of tax dollars. Okay, everybody, dish out of your funds. It's not gonna happen, because if you don't have it, where do we go from there? So I think it's It's there for a reason, and it always has been.
I could add one other thing to that too. The police commission is required to adopt a budget by October of every year. So this being July, this is a good time to start looking at what the funds are, what the status is, in preparation of a budget. That should be starting pretty soon, so that we have one in October to submit to the municipalities for the municipal budgets that are required to be passed at the beginning of the year. So that's part of that process. So we're actually at a good time to be looking at that.
Yeah, look at it, sure, but don't start writing checks.
It was starting the discussion on it because of,
No.
it's like I just.
I go to the meetings, and they're videotaped also.
Thank you for their comment.
Hmm? Oh, she can still cut me off and she doesn't have the gavel. I love it.
Is there anybody else? Anybody have any discussion at all?
The library,
You want to take the podium?
I didn't know what part I was in. My name is Lee Turner. I'm president of the Fleetwood Area Library. And basically, I'm here tonight just to thank you, of course, for having me here. I'd like to welcome the new members on the board. I'm correct, Mr. Hunter?
I'm not a member of the board, but I appreciate your welcome.
Okay, we're welcoming into the community.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mack, I play
Thank you.
pickleball with.
Welcome.
Yes, your uncle, yes. And that's, everybody else is here, right? That's what I thought. Very briefly, I'd like to bring the new people up to date on what the library has been doing. We service Maidencreek, Fleetwood, and Richmond boroughs and townships. Out of the active users that we actually count, about 37% come from the Fleetwood borough, 30% come from Richmond Township, and the rest come from Richmond and surrounding municipalities, because we do get quite a few from the Ole area, and we should even some of Kutztown comes over. At a certain point, we realized that our library was a mess. We'd been using the same tired shelving and flooring and library desk and everything for 70 years, and we just needed something new, and the Fleetwood Borough offered a space on the first floor that needed to be rehabbed. It needed a total rehab, which we have come up with probably about 90% of the cost at this point. We're here tonight to upgrade you on the progress that we've made since we've moved to the first floor, and of course thank you for your continued support. In order for the library to function, we rely on state, county, and local funding. Our state funding is directly related to the amount that we receive from the local service areas. In the county and state's mind, if we don't receive funding from the local, or if we don't get support from the local municipalities, they're not going to give us support either. The latest change to the county funding formula took out money from the circulation portion that every library